Okay, I'm going to be talking about turns. If you've never really flown much on the simulator and you're just getting into it, the basics of a turn are you're going to bank the wings the way you want to turn and then apply some up elevator to actually turn the airplane. And then once you're done your turn, you're going to level your wings again and then fly out of it. Now, a common thing a lot of people do is they try to over control the airplane. They really steeply bank, and you'll see they don't pull enough elevator, or they pull too much elevator, and they kind of zip and dip and dive and gain and lose altitude through your turns. When you're learning to turn, focus on banking your wings about 20-25 degrees and applying a little bit of up elevator and keeping that same altitude all the way through the turn. You can see right now I'm hardly doing anything to the airplane. It's just let the airplane fly. If you try to over control it, it'll end up looking worse than if you just let the airplane do what it wants to do. So you know you're going to start practicing turning and keeping that altitude always the same. I can't stress that enough. It's the mark of a good pilot is they can fly an entire circuit, 10 feet off the ground, and their airplane never deviates from that altitude. It always stays at the same height. And once you get comfortable with turning, make sure you start practicing turning the other way. On the simulator, most of the airplanes take off from right to left. So I found that I got really good at turning one way, and I couldn't really turn much the other way. So practice taking off. On the simulator, you see this one takes off right to left. So I got really comfortable with turning right because I would always turn away from myself first and fly circuits turning to the right. But what you want to do is turn that airplane around sometimes and take off the other way and practice turning to the left. And you can do figure eights in the air once you get yourself set up and turn right, and then you can turn left. And that will also help you get comfortable with turning. But you can see I don't really have to move the sticks very much. Turns are just supposed to be nice and gentle, and focus on keeping your altitude the same. And when you exit your turn, you're always going to give the opposite aileron you did to get into the turn. So if you can't remember, if you're flying towards yourself, which wing to raise, if you're turning right and you started your turn right, you're going to have to give left in order to level the wings. The other trick I use to remember is if you're flying towards yourself, if you push that aileron stick towards the down wing, that's going to raise that wing and level the wing. So when you're flying away from yourself, you're going to turn the same direction. When you're flying towards yourself, if that wing's low, that right wing, I'm going to push the stick right to lift the wing up. And just a final thought on turning, the steeper you bank your wings, the harder you have to pull your up elevator to keep the altitude the same. So start with nice gentle bank turns, and then as you get more comfortable, you can start increasing the bank and pulling harder and harder through turns to make the turns tighter and tighter and tighter.